Loss comes in many forms, and usually in unexpected ways. It can be devastating, leaving you facing an uphill struggle to go on with life without someone you thought would always be there. But life does go on, and even in the deepest despair, we can find hope. Welcome to Grief Relief with your hosts, Drs. Gloria and Heidi Horsley, brought to you by the Open to Hope Foundation, helping people find hope after loss. And now here's Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi.
Welcome to Grief Relief. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my co-host and daughter,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi, we've got an interesting show today because it's an organization you and I both dearly love, which is the Compassionate Friends. And you're on the board.
I am. I've been on the board for almost 3 years, and you served on the board for 6 years, right?
Right. And the organization is for those people who have lost children, grandchildren, and siblings. Wonderful organization. We'll be talking to the executive director, Alan Pedersen, about the organization, and then we have a roll-in from the National Candlelighting, which is an amazing event, and I think you're going to enjoy seeing the candlelighting, and maybe as a result of watching this show today, you'll do your own little candlelighting at home with your family, or next year you'll join a Compassionate Friends National Candlelighting.
Yeah, absolutely, and I just want to say that this organization really changed my life, Mom, because I felt like I was with a group of siblings that had had a loss and that really understood what I was going through.
And we're also going to have a wonderful cooking segment on here so that you can think of healthy things during the holidays for your family. And also, if you've got friends who have had a loss, we're going to have Kate Morford is going to help you to have some great recipes. And she has a wonderful cookbook called The Best Lunchbox Ever. And she has a wonderful website. You're going to be able to go on and get some great cooking recipes that are healthy for the holidays.
I'm looking forward to it because I just saw her food and it looks amazing.
Yeah, so let's get started with Alan.
Okay. Hi, Alan.
Hi.
What are we doing today?
Hello, Alan Pedersen, one of our favorite people, by the way.
Absolutely.
Two of my favorite ladies, and what an honor. I mean, I love doing the show. I don't know how many times I've been on the show. It's been an honor every time. Great stuff that you guys are doing here, and so much good grief information. So what an honor to be back.
Well, now you're executive director of the Compassionate Friends for this year's candlelighting, and the holidays are a tough time for a lot of people, aren't they?
You know, they are, and you know, people, they want a couple sentence answer to how do we cope and how do we survive in the holidays. And I think everybody just does it in their own way. It's difficult. We set new traditions. The thing I love about the Compassionate Friends and this candlelighting service and what it did for me early on after my daughter Ashley died in 2001 is it gave me a place going into the holiday season, this kind of sacred space and place where I could be with her and just focus on her for an evening. And I attended my first candlelighting service back in 2001 in December in Colorado out in about 7-degree weather. But it really helped me to kind of feel like I got centered around remembering her for the holidays and being able to be in a sacred space with her. So, but it's tough. Holidays are tough.
Well, and I'm thinking that the candlelighting is so powerful because you're in this room with over 100 people and everybody's had a shared experience of losing a family member. And it kind of transcends words as you're lighting the candle and paying tribute to the life that they lived and celebrating the life. It is just really, really powerful, and it's healing.
Yeah, there's just something we know from experience. There's something very sacred about that most pure of light, that candle, when we light it, because it speaks so much. It speaks of about how we feel about them, and so while we're there, and on one hand, we're acknowledging that they've died, we're certainly remembering that they lived, and that all kind of comes together in this very sacred ceremony that we have. But I think it's very important. Ritual, I think, is so important for us, and I think this is one great way to do it. And you look around the room, and what do you see? I'm not alone. And that helps, especially this time of year.
Well, let's talk about that, I'm not alone. And we can talk, after we get the roll in, we'll talk a little bit more about the candlelighting. But talk about the Compassionate Friends now. Here I am, and now I've heard them say that it's for parents, grandparents, and siblings. How do I find you? And
well, you can find us obviously on the web at www.thecompassionatefriends.org. But we are, you know, we call ourselves an organization, but I feel like we're a family. More than 650 chapters of the Compassionate Friends are in the United States. And, you know, we're a grief support organization, a peer-to-peer organization where we don't sit down and teach grief classes and that type of thing. We just sit around and talk about our kids, our grandkids, our siblings. I've been involved with the Compassionate Friends since 2001. To be the executive director today of this incredible organization is amazing, because I've gotten so much from it. Early on, I just attended meetings in Littleton, Colorado at my chapter, and it was a place every month I could go and just sit down and tell
talk
Ashley.
about Ashley. Yeah, talk a little bit about Ashley and tell people.
My daughter Ashley was 18 when she was killed in an automobile accident, August 15th of 2001. At that time, I'd never heard of this organization called the Compassionate Friends. I felt completely helpless, hopeless, overwhelmed. I couldn't imagine how on earth am I going to survive a lifetime without my daughter. I got a letter in the mail telling me about the Compassionate Friends, and I walked in the door that first night, and for the first time since she died, I realized I'm not crazy. I'm grieving. And I was with other people who understood my journey and who didn't try to push me, who didn't try to fix me. They just let me say her name and tell her story, and that is so important, and especially early on in grief, because many times our friends and even family, they hush. You know, they're afraid to say the name because they're going to upset us.
Yeah.
And so the Compassionate Friends is just an incredible organization where you can go and get help and get support to realize you're not walking the journey by yourself, where you can meet other people who, when you think you cannot survive this loss, you can look at somebody else and go, well, gosh, you know, if you've made it 6 months or 1 year or 5 years or 15 years, then maybe I can too. But we walk with each other. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and it's also an opportunity to serve for people who are ready now to move out. One of the healing things after you're through the, you know, a year or two, maybe you're ready to move out and serve other people and make meaning, try to make meaning out of the loss.
Yeah, I've been honored to visit nearly 300 of our chapters.
That's amazing.
And you know what is amazing? It is our people. We have thousands of incredible volunteers that are chapter leaders. They facilitate meetings. They serve on steering committees. They set up chairs. They make the coffee. They hug you at the door. They sit and listen. They put out a newsletter. Just, it's their way of honoring their child or grandchild or sibling by helping that next person that walks through the door. And that's what's so beautiful about it, is there's a healing element that comes when we reach out and help. And I think that's a key component of probably what makes any organization like the Compassionate Friends work, because I believe the healing does begin when we start helping others.
And so now, let's, Heidi, go to the roll-in of the Compassionate Allen, of the Compassionate Friends Candlelighting, because I think it is quite an amazing experience that people will appreciate.
Absolutely.
We love you. Your light will shine on forever. We will remember our children, our siblings, our brothers, sisters, and grandchildren. They will live forever in our memories and in our hearts, and they truly will be our guiding lights. We love them.
Tonight I hold this candle in memory of you, hoping some way, somehow, my love will shine through. I close my eyes, lost in the glow. There are so many things that I want you to know. This candle says I love you. This candle says I miss you. This candle is saying that I remember you. When I'm holding it toward heaven, it feels like you are near. If you're looking down tonight and see this candle burning bright, it says I'm wishing you were here. In the glow of this candle, I can almost see your smile, and it carries me away for a little while to another time, another place, when all it took to light up my world was your beautiful face. This candle says I love you. This candle says I miss you. This candle is saying that I remember you. When I'm holding it toward heaven, it feels like you are near. If you're looking down tonight and see these candles burning bright, it says we're wishing you were here. Well, someday, some way, I'll see you again, and I'll hold you in my heart. Until then, this candle says I love you. This candle says I miss you. This candle is saying that I remember you. When I'm holding it toward heaven, it feels like you are near. If you're looking down tonight and see this candle burning bright, it says I'm wishing you were here. If you're looking down tonight and see these candles burning bright, it says we're wishing you were here. This candle says I love you. The very first time I held a candle in honor of Ashley, I didn't want to put it out. I didn't want to extinguish it. Most of us share that story. It's very difficult to think about extinguishing that candle. And my dear friend Darcy Sims, I think I heard her say it like this, that no light born in love can ever be extinguished. And so those of us that have been doing this for a while have come to realize that as you extinguish that candle tonight, that you are simply turning on that light in your heart.
Well, Alan, that was amazing. The candle lighting is really something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an awesome night. I get to do that every year on Candlelighting Night, and it is a special connection. And I believe the people there were touched and blessed, and what an honor to be part of.
And your song. Now, did you write that specifically for the candle lighting?
I did. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to the National Conference of the Compassionate Friends in Atlanta, Georgia in 2004. And it was the first big candlelighting where there's 1,500 people in a hotel ballroom. And when you're with that kind of energy, that many people holding a candle in honor of their children, grandchildren, their siblings, the love that's in the room was so powerful. I went back to my hotel room and I wrote that song.
Wow, Tonight I Hold This Candle?
Yeah, and I played, that's the one song I played for my mom. I always tell people, before I recorded, I played that for my mom.
Wow.
I thought it was just okay, it was just another song. My mom looked at me and said, listen, that is the song you will be remembered for in the grief world. She said, I promise you, that's the one.
I have chills.
So it proves one thing. Listen to your mom.
Your mother's always right.
That song's been pretty good to me. Yes, it has.
It's a great song.
Well, yeah, it was so moving to see everybody with the candles and, you know, to remember your loved one in that way and to look at that light and to look at everybody else with their candles, have you singing.
And I do feel like Scott and Ashley, they are our guiding lights.
I do too.
And their light shines on, even though they're not physically here.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what I love? One man came up to me and his brother died of AIDS, I think it was probably 10 years ago. And he comes to every candle lighting to remember him. Yeah. So what a beautiful thing. Have a place to go during the holidays to be able to be with people and have that sacred. It's a very sacred moment.
I had a lady
sacred
write to me on Facebook, said, you know what, that candle lighting, that's my date with my son every year. And it is just, like you said, I'm taking him out on a date. We get to spend some time together. So
that's incredible.
That's great.
Well, you know, I want to tell people that they can go to the national conference in Chicago this year, 2014, and you can do this huge candle lighting, which is an amazing thing. There'll be 1,500 people there, and they will light their candles. And I don't know what the song. I hope you'll sing that one, Alan. It would be fabulous. As
I don't know who's booking the singer that night, but I'll see what I can do.
It might be you.
Yeah.
No pressure, Alan.
Yeah, July 11th to the 13th, Chicago, Illinois. Go to our website. For the national conference, you can learn about grief. It's just a chance to connect with people all over the country. It's one of the greatest experiences you will give yourself.
Absolutely. And there's dozens of workshops, and there's something for everyone there.
There is. Really is.
And it's really wonderful. And try to get the siblings to come because it's an amazing, amazing experience. For the siblings. So, Alan, well, thank you for being with us. And it's so fabulous to see you again. And we will see you in Chicago. For everybody who is, you know, there. We'll all be there doing workshops and
thank you for all you do and all the support. I look forward to continuing to work with both of you. So.
Oh, great.
Absolutely.
And you too.
God bless you both.
Thanks,
God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, Heidi, let's go see Katie's cooking.
Okay. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Katie.
We've got some holiday fare over
here. Great.
Wow, this looks fabulous.
Looks delicious.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah,
Are we going to start here, or are we going to start
And
over
you got your great
here.
cookbook here.
Okay.
Love this cookbook. It's amazing. And Heidi, I know if your daughter gets hold of this cookbook, you're going to be out buying some good stuff.
She will love it. I love all this healthy stuff for kids and for families.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're cooking here today is really wholesome too. I really wanted to focus on recipes that are really seasonal, that are nourishing, that people can make for themselves during the holidays. And I wanted to.
And nourishing is important when you're in grief, right?
That's right. Absolutely. You can be really depleted from the stress of grief, and refilling. All the nutrients is really important.
And I know you know what you're talking about because you're a nutritionist.
That's right.
And this is good because I think in the holidays we tend to eat a lot of high-calorie foods.
Yes.
And a lot of sugar, and then we crash.
That's right.
So I like that there's some healthy choices.
Yeah, we have some healthy choices. We have a little sweet at the end, but it's all in moderation, and I think that's, finding that balance is really key. So I have here what I call a colorful cabbage salad. And I really like to use cabbage because unlike more delicate lettuces, it's really hearty and it holds up really well in the refrigerator. And even if once you shred it and dress it, it'll still be good for a couple of days. So especially for someone who might be alone, that's kind of a nice thing. It has staying power.
And if you wanted to make somebody a salad and drop it off, you wouldn't have to worry that they would eat it right away or that moment.
Yeah, this would last a couple of days for sure.
That's great.
So I've started off, you can sort of see, I did half of a green cabbage and half of a red cabbage shredded and tossed together. You can really use any kind of cabbage you like. And then I have some really lovely seasonal ingredients. This is a Honeycrisp apple that I sliced this morning, and then I just doused it with some lemon juice so it wouldn't turn brown.
Oh, that's
I didn't know
good.
that
Yeah.
worked.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lemon juice
It
on apples.
stops that browning right away.
Oh.
And then some dried cranberries, very seasonal, and some toasted chopped walnuts. So those are all going to go right into here. Apples, cranberries, and walnuts. And then in here I have some apple cider vinegar and olive oil. And just a little bit of honey.
So I like that you cook with olive oil a lot.
I do. For most of my savory cooking, I use olive oil, and then for a lot of my sweeter cooking, I tend to use organic canola oil because it has more of a neutral flavor. But olive oil is really, among the cooking oils, one of the healthiest. You got to go for the extra virgin.
Okay, extra virgin.
Extra virgin.
Extra virgin, honey.
So you can smell the vinegar and all these flavors coming together. And then
good.
Nice.
I like just a little bit of salt and then a little celery seed.
Even after you dress it, can you save it?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
so what I
I
often
love
will
it.
do is I'll get the cabbage and I'll shred it right away and put it in a bag in the fridge. And then, when you're ready to use it, shred it. But shredded and dressed, it will keep for a couple of days.
Oh, that's
interesting.
That's
What
really
else?
nice. I love the idea of dropping a salad off to somebody and knowing it.
Yeah, and
I
what
agree.
you have is it's so pretty, and it's really crunchy, and then you could easily turn this into a dinner by adding, say, a broiled chicken breast or something like that. And it's also a great dish to take to a holiday buffet. Because as you said, so many recipes during the holidays are really rich and heavy, and this is kind of a nice...
Well, also you feel like, you have to get there and dress it or whatever,
Yeah.
but in this one you can take it and it's good to go and you can put it on the table
Yeah.
and you don't have to do a lot
And
more.
I
work.
would even say I like to do this maybe an hour before because all those flavors come together and it's even better, after a little while it's sort of marinating.
Boy, that's good.
That's really good.
Okay. Thank you. So I wanted to move on to another vegetable, which is, I wanted to talk a little bit about winter squash. I think that there's a huge variety of winter squash out there.
I haven't seen that one.
Well, I think a lot of people are just in general intimidated because all these squashes, they're funny shaped and they're hard and they're unwieldy and people don't know what to do with them. And I really like this one. It's called delicata because it's small and it's really easy to work with. And so I just take it and split it in half, cut it right down the center. And then I already scooped out the seeds and the little stringy bits. And all I'm going to do is roast it. So, and this is, you can see it's finished here. So I just, let me find my salt.
I love the squash when you open it and just
I
put it in
know.
your oven and you don't have to worry about it.
I know, it's kind of
Do
magical.
you do squash, Heidi?
Not really, but I will now because it sounds easy. All I
is.
do is put
It's
it in my
so-
oven.
Well, I
It's-
literally
it's
do.
so
I
easy.
haven't done this kind of squash, but I do the butternut.
Yeah,
and I
it
just stick
sounds-
it in the oven and come home and
Yeah.
eat it. It's
It
so
sounds
easy.
really
It's so good.
easy.
And it's so healthy for you.
And I
all
love squash.
All these colorful vegetables are telling you that they're full of nutrients. So just dot it with a little bit of butter.
Is that right? All the colored ones are full of nutrients.
They really say eat with a rainbow. So try to hit all the colors of the rainbow. And the little maple syrup and I like
Maple syrup. I
maple
love it.
syrup and squash are a
I
perfect
would
marriage.
not have thought of that together. It sounds
And then
great.
just a little bit of thyme. And then you just put it in about a 450-degree oven until
Wow.
it's soft and caramelized, kind of like this. And with a delicata squash, you can actually eat the skin. It's really...
Oh, really?
I mean, you don't have to. Obviously, you can scoop out, but it's perfectly edible
Honey, I love that with the
with the maple syrup. And it's pretty.
Yeah.
I mean...
Now, do you use real maple syrup? Or
Yeah, I don't use
Oh,
no pancake syrup.
okay. So you go to the store and you get
Yeah,
real
you have
maple
to get
syrup.
real maple
Can
syrup.
you use pancake syrup? No.
Yes, you could.
I don't
If
even
that's
know
what
the
you have in your
difference, okay?
I
thought all
look for
syrup was
pure maple syrup.
Okay, this is good to know.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So that's, again, really easy, really nourishing. You could have this for a lunch. You could pair it with some, some kind of a grain. You could even, fill it with, say, brown rice or something like
Oh,
that.
that's a good idea.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is a good idea.
So,
That's what they got.
I love that. I'm always stuck for lunch because my husband doesn't love salads, and this would be an interesting lunch.
yeah,
Lunch to have.
absolutely. Have this. You could have it with a salad on the side or a little bit of protein or something like that.
All right.
And I think because it's the holidays, I wanted to do something, a baked good.
Good.
And this is a nice one. It's a pumpkin gingerbread cupcake.
That sounds great.
And although it's a sweet, it has some nourishment in it. It's made with whole grain flour and pumpkin puree and buttermilk.
Yeah.
And it's really tender and it's really easy to make. And I think, you know, for people who are grieving, sometimes baking can be actually really therapeutic.
Yes.
I think it, you know, depends on the person. And this is, again, also something you could bring to someone who is grieving and sit down and have a cupcake
That's nice.
and a cup of tea.
And I like that they're small.
Yeah, they're small, and that's sort of where you find the balance where you get your sweet, but you're not getting a major sugar high. And you can obviously have them without any frosting, but I have a little cream cheese frosting.
Oh, that sounds good.
And
you can put frosting on mine.
And I sweeten it with just a teeny bit of maple syrup again, because again the squash from the pumpkin and the
this
maple
is
syrup.
the real syrup.
That's
it's
the real
not
deal.
The pancake syrup,
That's the real deal. Yeah,
Okay.
you
Taste
should
that,
do a
honey.
side-by-side tasting because
Good.
they're a real deal.
It's really good.
Yeah.
That's
so
the
I
real
will-
stuff to get out of the
I
trees
will
there, Heidi.
process for you.
All right.
So, and they're just pretty.
They're so
and
cute.
Yeah, I love the minis.
Okay, and tell us how we can get your cookbook and find you and
so
all that.
my website's momskitchenhandbook.com, and I write a lot of recipes, but I also write a lot of just general nutrition advice, feeding
that's
advice
great.
for parents. And on there's a whole section about my book. You can buy it at local bookstores, and you can buy it on Amazon. So that's probably a good place to start. And some of the recipes are on the website as well. This is on the website, and these two.
Great.
It's fabulous.
That's
It
in
tastes like the
book.
gingerbread
Really
house.
yummy.
Did you try?
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
so
did. I
good.
had a bite of that one. Well,
So-
thank you so much for being on the show today
Thank you
and
for
for
having me.
giving us such great ideas during the holidays for people who are grieving. And we ask a blessing on all of you during the holidays that are out there. And thanks for watching the show.
Thanks,
Thanks
Kitty.
for
This is
having
great.
me.
And we're going to keep
This has been the Grief Relief Show, hosted by mother-daughter team Doctors Gloria and Heidi Horsley. This show has been brought to you by the Open to Hope Foundation, helping people find hope after loss. Be sure to visit opentohope.com, where you can listen to radio programs, watch Open to Hope TV, read articles, and view books. You can also join Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi on Twitter and Facebook and put your events on their international calendar. Thanks for watching, and remember, others have been there and made it, and you can too.